Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and this is Let 'em Breathe, where I like to open up and play with some really cool toys. Not necessarily review them, but I just want to check them out because I know I'm going to love them anyways. So as you can see, I got a bunch of MOTU Origins figures here. I have the entire Wave 9 that includes things like Pighead and a 2000X HeMan, Mantenna, and a 2000X Skeletor, which I'm really excited about. This Pighead is the one I'm probably the most stoked about. But I also have like deluxe figures like Leech here. I even got Snout Spout there as well. But on top of that, I do have the Mattel Creations figures, being the comic book Triclops, Coldar, and Coldar, that I'm going to open up as well, because these have been sitting here and I've been dying to open these up for the longest time. So what do you say, guys? Let's open up some action figures and let them breathe. Alright guys, so I want to start off with Wave 9 here, and we're going to start with HeMan, the 2000X HeMan, and I think this is so cool. This may not work for everybody, but it works for me. I love seeing all these different iterations of MOTU in this very vintage style, like 2000X here. I know we're getting new adventures. I know we're even getting like the new Netflix kids cartoon in this style, which I think is crazy cool. So I'm all about this, especially as much as I love the freaking 2000X cartoon, the best MOTU in my opinion. The head sculpt is also really cool because it looks like almost like a vintage He-Man, but with that 2000X hair, I think it looks good. I love all the paint here, the bright silvers, that modern harness and belt. I think all looks super cool. We of course do get the tech sword, which I think is great. We're gonna pop that in the hand right there. I mean, that looks rad, dude. You know, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of that sword because I always thought it was so weird, but you know, I've learned to appreciate it over time. We of course get a more 2000X shield, but more done in like the size of like the vintage shield kind of. You got that same type of clip and hand clasp like that. That works out good. You also have that crazy tech 2000X axe, which is really rad. The sculpts on these are great. Sucks that they're kind of just casted in the single plastic, the simple one color plastic, but I get it. You know, it's more towards the vintage style. You can holster this on the back like that, or put the sword back there, whatever you want to do. But still, I think that's very, very cool, man. Just really, really happy with this. Next up, I'm taking a look at the 2000X Skeletor here, which I think is great, man. Skeletor is one of my favorite characters in all of pop culture, and honestly might be, in my opinion, the best villain of all time. Is that just me? But I love, again, how they did this, much like the He-Man. They're taking that 2000X look, but taking it back to like the retro 80s style, which I think is really cool too. So you got the vintage, the same old school harness, just done with different colors with the red in the center and the black shoulders like that. That head sculpt looks so good. He has more of those fangs going on like that. The big hood looks really good. I love the elongated skirt piece right here, looking great. Those 2000X like shoulder, or excuse me, shin guards look awesome as well. Everything about this just looks so cool. He does come with the same Havoc staff that we've seen with pretty much every Skeletor. It's just done a little more of a darker metallic purple to better match this style of Skeletor. But we also got his 2000X sword. This is a very thick material. I don't know if you can tell how thick that is, but it looks really cool. It almost even has like a sparkly effect to it, so it looks pretty metallic. I do wish it would split in two, much like the 2000X series did, or even the figures did. And I also do wish it was painted, you know, in those dual colors again. But I get it. Again, this is more of a vintage style, but it still looks very cool, man. And God, I hope we get so many more 2000X design, especially when it comes to like Zodak. Was Zodak with a K? I would love that figure in this line. I would love the 2000X, what's his name? Oh my God, Cyclone. I want the vintage one, of course, first, but I would love the 2000X version as well. Almost that samurai look, but this is really cool, man. Just really happy with what they're doing here. One of the figures that I'm most excited about is Mantenna, because I've always just loved this character. So freaking weird and just very different from all the other MOTU characters. And this is one I never actually had as a kid. always wanted him. I believe one of my cousins probably had him, and I remember playing with him at my cousin's house. But super stoked to finally have this one in the collection, and again in this origin style with obviously more articulation. He has the 4 legs that are fully articulated from the front and back here, so I think that's actually really cool. It's also kind of a little surprising that this wasn't a deluxe figure given the extra parts here, but I guess it's a good thing, so I'm not going to really complain about that. So this just looks great. I do wish the sculpt right here on the chest was a little sharper. You know, it's a little soft, but again, they're going with that old school style, so I get it. This also does have that feature where you could bug out the eyes. I think that's awesome. What was also really surprising, this head is removable, and it's a different type of plastic, of course, because it has that little gimmick going on right there. So, but you could put this on any other figure. Like, I mean, screw it. Let's take HeMan here, like that. Like that, and then let's pop on, because why the heck not, right? I mean, that's part of the fun of Origins, being able to mix and match parts and things like that, and do whatever crazy things you want to do, because, I mean, that play feature for me totally works, man, so I love that a lot. Then he comes with that classic Horde crossbow, which pretty much comes with almost every Horde character, which I think is really cool that they all have that one unique weapon to them. It does have that same kind of like semi-launch feature, even though it's kind of dumb, to be honest. I'd never really liked that, but you can't clip that onto the wrist like that and have him have his crossbow like so. And damn, dude, it is always awesome to get a new Horde member, because I love the Horde. I think they're my favorite faction when it comes to MOTU, because they're just so cool. They're all like these crazy monsters and vampire type characters and just crazy looking. So yeah, really happy that I got this one again. One that I've always wanted since I was a kid. Now, one that I'm extremely happy about is Pighead here. I have been on board with them finally bringing in Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun to MOTU, where they can just all be together. I love it so much. So really happy to finally get Pighead. As I mean, look at this guy. He's a crazy neon colored war pig, which is wild to me. So he has these crazy tusks. I mean, he has this awesome like bluish turquoise color going on, pink armor bits, neon green yellowish skin with a spiked bandolier going over him. I mean, that's a crazy looking character, and finally have him side by side with people like Skeletor, I think is so cool. So I absolutely love that. You got his like flail type of ball, spiked ball here, which I think looks really cool. You have his shield, which is a pretty simple blue and pink shield that can just fit through the fingers like that, and then kind of clasp over the forearm like that. So again, so cool, dude. I think this is just so much fun. Even if you're not a big Ruler of the Sun or a HeMan fan, this is just a crazy looking toy, and I think I appreciate it just for that. So really happy with this one. So we also do get a mini comic with each wave. Now this is the wave, or the mini comic for Wave 9 here. It has Pighead teaming up with Skeletor. It looks like it's still some type of gem or relic, and you got Sunman and HeMan, a 2000X HeMan in the background. That's kind of cool. Seeing Sunman and 2000X HeMan team up, that's pretty dope. But I love the little mini comics, man. I am definitely collecting all of these. I think it's really cool. And he's totally just grabbing Mantenna by like his eye tinted antennas. That's crazy and kind of gross, but I mean, this is really cool. Even seeing 2000X Skeletor like that, I love this so much, man. So again, very cool having another mini comic. Now moving on to the deluxe figures here, I'm checking out Leech first. This is one I'm pretty sure I had as a kid, because I just kind of remember playing with all these suction cups on my refrigerator. So I don't know, do you guys do that kind of stuff? Anything with a suction cup went directly on my refrigerator. That's just how it was. But this looks great, man. I love the vintage head with the big suction cup mouth. Even the print right there, just like the vintage toy, looks so cool. I love the bulkiness of the body looking great. That awesome Horde logo looks so good. The suction cup hands all work very well. I love how that works out. What's super cool though, for like the hands, you could take these off and then put on some more just standard type hands with like standard fingers without the suction cups. That's actually super cool, and they do articulate, they hinge and swivel, so that's actually really cool. So if you want to take off those, you do get one hand for each. You're going to be stuck with the same suction cup feet, but that's okay because he stands actually very, very well. Also, what I do like, you could pop that head off and pop on a more modern head. This kind of looks like the Classics head. I don't know if it's exactly the same thing, but it kind of has that look to it, which I think I prefer. I mean, this is great in vintage and all, and I love how vintagey it is. But just for display purposes, I think this works better for me, so I love that. And then, of course, we do get the Horde crossbow, this time done in red, and you just clip that on there, and it has that stupid same function where it's supposed to launch. Again, just kind of dumb. But again, 2 Horde characters in this one, man. I love building up the Horde, which is really cool. And speaking of building up the Horde, did you guys get your Grizzlor? Were you able to be on that first run, or do you have to do the pre-sale, pre-order, you know, made-to-order figure that's going to come out next year at some point? That's the one I had to get. I couldn't score the one that sold out in like 3 minutes. Either way, I know I have a Grizzlor coming. Super happy about that. And always super had just more Horde characters. Give me all the Horde, man. I want all of them. And freaking Leech here looks great. So now I'm going to take a look at Snout Spout here. And fun fact, Snout Spout is actually one of my favorite MOTU characters. That sounds weird, right? I mean, whose favorite MOTU characters? Whose favorite MOTU top 10 includes Snout Spout? Bat Bomb, that's who. His list totally involves Snout Spout. He's a freaking elephant firefighter of Eternia, because why the heck not? But this head sculpt looks really cool. I do love that a lot of the eyes look really nice, almost a little Filmation-esque. I do see the tusks coming out right here. I also love that the snout itself is articulated. We got a hinge like that, so you can even flip this around and rotate it like that, make it look like he's pointing and he's shooting water out. So that's actually super cool, man. I love that a lot. We also do get a backpack that can just slide on the back like so. So if you want to have that like that, you can do that. And there's a little white paint on there on the dial and the little straps that hold the tanks together. So I think that's very cool. So you can pop this off, and I'm going to pop this head off, and we're going to bring in this whole thing right here. This is a more vintage head that we can pop on. Then we get this whole backpack apparatus with a hose coming through it. It's going to clip on the same way, just kind of slide over there like so. And this is definitely more vintagey. This whole backpack actually does hold water. So if you could squeeze it, and I can actually feel the air coming out of it like that. So if you want to, you can suck up some water and then have it shoot water like that vintage toy, which I think, again, it's really cool, man. I love the fact that they're giving us some gimmicks when it comes to certain figures, even in like these deluxe forms. I think it's really cool because like Leech still gets his suction cup feature, and then you can have a more display style if you want to. So I love the different options. This guy also comes with his vintage axe, which I think is really cool too, because I always loved this axe for some reason. I think that looks so cool. He holds it by that little separate handle right there. Or if you want to, like the vintage toy, it has the little clip right here where you're supposed to like be able to pose his snout, and that's how he was supposed to hold it up. So that's pretty cool. So you can kind of like aim a little better, I guess. So that's really cool, man. Again, it's so odd that, yeah, Snout Spout is one of my favorite MOTU characters. Like, I know he's kind of like a C-list or even a D-list character as far as MOTU goes for most people, but for me, he's at the very least B-list in my opinion. You know, there's HeMan and Skeletor, and then there's guys like Snout Spout for me, so I am just in love with this figure. So with these deluxe figures, if we of course get the same mini comic for both of them, the Knight of Leech. So we got a really cool image of Leech right there. We got the whole Wave 9, including the deluxe figures. I definitely got to get the Roton. That's one of my favorite vehicles. I love that, so I got to pick that up. And this one looks really cool. You got some images of Buzz off there. I got Snout Spout in the background. Let's see, it's got some Hordak images. So all looking really cool. You got Zodak in there too. Ooh, you got that Slime Pit HeMan. So Horde HeMan's Horde Zombie HeMan, whatever you want to call him. You can see him all green right there. That's one we need in Origins as well, man. A translucent green Origins Slime Pit HeMan would be super cool. And man, I kind of hope they release the Slime Pit itself. I would totally buy the Slime Pit, right? Or is that just me? I would love that. But anyways, again, another really cool mini comic for the collection. So next up, we're going to start delving into the Mattel Creations exclusive figures. Here we're going to start off with the mini Comicstriclops. This is just such a cool version of Triclops in my opinion. I absolutely love the colors. I love the design here with this whole upper torso look to it. I think it looks really cool. And yeah, this is how we look in the mini comics. Now, paint for the most part looks really good. It's a little splotchy here and there, like this paint right here for these ovals isn't exactly the best, but I still think it looks really cool. He still maintains that eye feature where you can rotate the eyes and things like that. And I love how there's one blue eye, so I might leave it on the blue eye just because there's no other blue here without the suit, or throughout the suit, excuse me. So just to break it up and give it a little something extra. He of course comes with his sword that you can actually holster on the back like so if you wanted to, so that works out really nice. Or just hold it in his hand like that. And I love this sword. I don't know why, but I've always loved the Triclops sword itself. I always thought that was one of the cooler weapons from MOTU. He also comes with the ring here. I think this is super cool that they even included this. This thing is clearly meant for kids because I'm putting it on my pinky and that's as far as it's gonna go, man. So yeah, so screw my big fat fingers. You ain't going nowhere else. But it goes in the dark. I think that's really cool too. And again, I just think it's really cool that they even included this because I never had the vintage one as a kid. I'm probably just gonna like hold it back there for some reason. You know, when I have them on display, I'm just gonna have it back there as like a tool or a weapon or some kind of artifact or something. I don't know. But what's also really nice too with this, we get its own exclusive mini comic, which is really for this one just a re-release of that vintage mini comic, The Terror of Triclops, and you can really see where this figure gets that look of that design. That's what it's based on. So it's pretty cool that we're getting a reissue of that vintage mini comic. Now, I kind of wish there was a new mini comic, but I get it. This is based on an old school comic, which again, I appreciate. And again, this is just a really cool look for Triclops. Now I'm going to take a look at Coldar here. I think this is a really cool character. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, who the heck is Coldar? I get it. Coldar was in the original Filmation cartoon for, I believe, like one episode, maybe two, I don't really remember. But how I remember Coldar, honestly, and this is honestly how I remember the character, I remember when MOTU Classics was a big thing, and they were talking about, like, obscure characters that they could probably turn into classics who had never maybe had figures before. And I specifically remember Coldar being one of those people or characters that could have possibly gotten a classics figure, but it never happened. But now we have him in Origins, and I love this, man, because this is Coldar's first figure. And again, I'm all for expanding this line of Origins, giving us characters from different iterations of MOTU, giving us characters that maybe never got figures before and things like that. I love that so much about this line. And Coldar looks really cool. Love the armor here. His helmet looks great with those big tall horns. I love the gold that they're using on here. Looks really nice and metallic. Just so cool. He does come with some weapons here. He comes with a more Triclops sword that you can hold on the back like so, or you can hold that in his hand against the same Triclops sword we've seen numerous times now. Or he also comes with that double-bladed axe that came with, I believe, HeMan. He doesn't come with the other attachment, just this one part like that. But still, dude, really cool getting another new character that we have never had before in the Origins line. He also comes with his own mini comic, Renegade Raid. You got a great image of him fighting HeMan, because I believe in this story, they started off as enemies because they didn't really know or trust each other. I mean, but spoiler alert, at the end, they become friends and shake hands and realize they're on the same side. So that's really cool, man. Again, just super happy to get new characters, not necessarily new, but you know what I mean, new characters that have never been in any MOTU line, finally in this line. So now the one that I'm probably most stoked for, last but not least, we finally have Wondar here. And man, the whole crap fest with Wondar online, some being leaked out early, this thing being sold out in like 30 seconds or whatever it was insane. Luckily, a buddy of mine hooked me up. And now you have the chance to do a pre-sale, a made-to-order version of him, so that if you missed out, stay tuned because Mattel will be offering him again, which I think is great on Mattel. Good for them. I really respect them for that. But this is great, dude. Again, I've always loved the Wondar character, just the whole mythos behind him, and it took forever to find out where he even came from. People weren't sure what line he was through, like how he was redistributed. Nobody really knew it for years and years and years and years. but this is really, really cool. It's initially just a brown and black He-Man, which I'm cool with. The brown hair looks really good. I love the black Zodak armor. I always thought that was super cool, but this all looks great. He does come with those weapons that the vintage one kind of, sort of, not really did come with. So you got the standard, like, axe. You have that standard small short sword, and then that Zodak blaster. These are all really cool, but I don't know why they're in brown. Like, the vintage weapons were for, I believe, a Mani-Faces, if I remember correctly, and those were done more of in like a burgundy color. And I've seen these accessories and this original Wondar in person, and they're more of a burgundy. So I'm guessing they just made them this brown, this poopy brown, to better match the hair and the trunks. I don't know. But either way, I'm still very stoked about this. This is one that I really wanted in Origins. And it's just super cool to me, man, that we even got this. And of course, we do get a mini comic just for him right there, Lost Legend. I love that. You got a great image of Wondar right there. And these cool skeleton characters that I believe are actually going to be coming out soon. I don't know who this is, but I kind of hope we get a figure of him. And just a great little mini comic. You got the Savage He-Man like that. Looking super cool, man. Again, those skeleton characters are going to be so awesome. I'm going to need a couple of those at least. And we got a Moss Man. I cannot wait for Origins Moss Man. I hope he's flocked and he smells nice. Smells like pine, but very cool. Green Goddess there. So, yeah, dude, I love this, dude. A great addition to the line, in my opinion. And all of these are just so much fun. I freaking love this line. So there it is, guys. My unboxing of some MOTU Origins figures. And man, I freaking love this line. It really does, in my opinion, have this really awesome blend of nostalgia, classic toys that I played with when I was a kid, and modern takes with things like the articulation and interchangeable parts. I absolutely love this line. It hits me right in the feels, and it's just so perfect to me. All of these figures are so awesome, and it's really cool getting figures that I never had as a kid, but getting them now, but with updated articulation. I think that's so cool. For the longest time, I was collecting classics, but at some point, they just got really too expensive, and I really wanted a little more of a old school feel to them. So when they came with Origins, I was like, yes, that's what I need. That's what I want for my collection. And for me, I am all in on this line. So don't forget to play with your toys, open your toys, and let them breathe.